Hello, this is Mugetsu, and this is probably gonna be a very short stream. I'm just gonna get the last endings for Chrono Trigger so that we can be done with it. And the other thing that was planned for today, will have to be done tomorrow because I actually have a bunch of stuff to do even after this stream. So yeah, it's gonna be just Chrono Trigger. Let's say that things have kind of been getting out of control in some match. Yeah. The final Chrono Trigger stream. Indeed. All right, let's start. Buenas, X-Volt. Sí, esto va a ser corto, creo yo. Son los últimos dos finales. Y de hecho, ya con esto desbloqueo todos los logros en Steam. La verdad, este sí ha sido un juegazo. Three playthroughs of Chrono Cross. I don't know how long the game is, so I'm not sure how bad that is. Sí, X-Volt, quedan dos finales. All right, Roncat. So what do we do now? The game automatically goes into hard mode in the new game plus. God damn. What do you mean there's no leveling? How do the characters get stronger? All right. You only level up in Chrono Cross when you beat a boss. Alright, so random battles are pointless. Noted. Damn. An RPG where you don't level up from random battles. That's something. Money and crafting materials. Okay. I thought that money was irrelevant, at least in Chrono Trigger. Well, considering that it's a sequel, you'd think that there'd be similarities. Cross is one of the most controversial sequels ever made. Damn, okay, I thought it was mostly the story, but I didn't think the gameplay too. Yes, I remember. I thought it was the story. And also, you know, with that bullshit video, The Fall of Guardia, I thought it was really the story. X-Fold, al parecer, lo que hizo Chrono Trigger bueno no está implementado en Chrono Cross. Eso es lo que estoy entendiendo. Que es un juego bastante diferente y no necesariamente de buena manera. Creo que sí. Tampoco es que el Lavo sea tan débil. Se supone que tiene el poder de todas las razas y de todos los seres que han vivido en la Tierra a lo largo de la historia. Y pues hay humanos con magia que son bastante fuertes, pero ahora que lo mencionas, creo que no. Creo que ningún individuo llegaba al nivel de Nappa. Entonces sí creo que Goku de la saga Saiyajin se revienta a Lavos. Pero a lo mejor necesito usar el Kaioken. The first half of Chrono Cross has nothing to do with Trigger. Okay, that's not looking good. Sí. O sea, X-Volt, se supone que históricamente en el mundo de Chrono Trigger, en la era de hielo es donde había los humanos más poderosos que usaban magia. Entonces, ese sería más o menos de ahí sería la gran mayoría del poder que sacaría Lavos. Entonces, yo creo que sí es como el nivel de Raditz, a lo mejor de los humanos individuales. Ahora, lo que no sé es si Lavos combina el poder, o sea, aditivamente de todos los seres que han vivido, o si solamente es así como tipo lo del Omnitrix, que nada más extrae, digamos, los mejores. Porque si es el poder combinado de todos los humanos, entonces a lo mejor es algo más así como al nivel de Freezer. Pero si es nada más los mejores individuos de cada especie, pues sí, sería algo así como tipo nivel de Nappa. Bueno, sí. Sí. The developers said that they made Chrono Trigger like that because of the console gap between SNES, Chrono Cross like that because of the console gap between the SNES and PlayStation, so that new players can get in more easily. But the second half of the games makes no sense if you didn't play Chrono Trigger. Well, I mean, a good sequel you know, it's a complementary part of the story, so you need the first part. Some people would say that a good sequel doesn't need the first part, but I would say, I mean, you can make a good story on its own right, but it's not doing its job well as a sequel if it functions completely when disconnected from the original. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. The real question is there any benefit skipping the dungeons? Because usually the game, you know, provides you with experience, money, materials, items. I see. So skipping the dungeons is probably detrimental. I think Chrono Trigger did that a little better. That even, you know, if it's New Game Plus, if you haven't met a character, you can't use them yet. That makes more sense, at least in terms of the game's own story. But I guess some people do want their cheese. Eso sería genial, Xbox. Hey, la one shot Tirano. The power of. Damn it. Pues al parecer el nombre de Lavos sí se preservó a través de las generaciones. Eila fue la que lo nombró. Y nos acaba de decir que porque La significa fuego en su idioma y Voz era grande, entonces Lavos era gran fuego. Ozzy's descendant says that he wished Magus used levels to wipe out the humans. Yeah, but that was in the Middle Ages. That was way after this. Okay, I got the feeling that I have to actually go and kill Lavos now for the next ending. Or okay, I guess I can do that. Well, this is the Ice Age. I decided to stick with Ayla since she's part of the team in this segment of the story. So yeah, that was intentional. see this team composition still worked out pretty well. Wait, don't tell me this is another Nothing Burger ending. I'm gonna be mad. Oh, never mind. This is the last serious one? Wait. The Sin Kingdom still rules the world? Because I thought it was different things, but it seems that they ruled the Middle Ages. Time traveling shenanigans. Eso parece. I see. Looks like Magus didn't get the memo that Laos is dead. Welcome, Near X. Muerto. En efecto, X-Vault. Alright, so what do I have to do for the next ending? Lavos died in 1999, not in 12. 1000 BC. Okay, I see. Yeah, that was a little confusing. But I mean, in the previous ending, we killed Lavos right before, the end of prehistory, and that caused everyone to be reptiles. So I assume that this one meant Lavos died before the Ice Age. Alright, let's go back. Well, I assumed it was, because we killed Lavos before he could kill the reptile. So I can say that it's both a joke ending, but I can also see how the ramifications from, removing the factor that drove the reptiles extinct. And I guess that is also our closest look to the Lost Sanctum. All right. Well, I get confused by what date do we use to kill Lavos, because there was, the other ending where we killed Lavos like in the Middle Ages, and that caused Frog to become Marat's ancestor. I think I should probably save. Okay, I think I just forgot that every time you kill Lavos, it's 1999. Except maybe for the canonical ending? Because that wasn't, I mean, the first ending? Or the second? Because that was going into the Black Omen. Not the bucket at the end of time. Dreamstone is actually scales of lavas that fell from space. Okay, I guess it's kind of poetic that we used lava scale to kill him. Like the Nemean lion, Hercules killed him. Well, he strangled the lion, but then he cut his skin with his own claws. Because there was nothing that could harm that lion's skin. Yeah, I figured. That's why you can't find Dreamstone after 12,000 BC. I honestly was wondering what the hell happened that there was Dreamstone in prehistory in the Ice Age, but then it's nowhere to be found after. Like, my theory had been that the Seal Kingdom mined away all the available Dreamstone and there was none left by the Middle Ages, let alone the modern age. I see. Okay, so I was partially correct. Huh. didn't know because I didn't use. I mean, up until now, because I hadn't used the dual text. And since this is the final time I'm fighting Lavos, I wanted to see. Esa es una muy buena pregunta, Xbolt. Y pues no sé la respuesta canónica, pero sí se me ocurre que a lo mejor no puede soportar la propia energía del núcleo dentro de su cuerpo y por eso lo tiene por fuera. Eso podría ser. Porque se supone que la evolución de Lavos todavía no había terminado. Wait, are you kidding me? The final, most perverted ending. I guess this explains why Marl likes Chrono. Wait, Chrono spoke? God damn it. Okay, well, I first saw it here. Okay, I legit was not expecting this ending. Oh no. Exalted. No eres el único, yo también lo medio pensé. Pero la verdad, esto no se compara con los 3 finales que no son finales porque literalmente no son nada. Eso sí, es una troleada del calibre de Toriyama. Se me hace curioso el hecho de que activar el pendiente con la máquina esa revierta el final al anterior a este. O sea, es tan específico. Un poco rebuscado. God damn it, wrong cat. If you kill Laos in the Ocean Palace, you get the developer ending, the same one you get at the start of the game. Huh. You know, I was wondering up until all this, if you destroyed the Black Omen in every single instance, would that have triggered another ending? I thought that maybe that would change the story, but obviously that wasn't the case. After the Ocean Palace, you're locked to the canon or dead Chrono ending. I see. Damn. So it's almost as if the other endings pretty much require a new game plus. Feo con F de foca. Oh yeah, that is also true. Ending number 12, Memory Lane. Okay, and I believe that is the final ending. But you know what? I want to check my Steam achievements. So give me a moment. I just want to see if it truly that's it. Okay, yeah, this is the final ending. Also, it seems that a very low percentage of players even has most of the endings. Like Beyond Time has 15%. The others are below 5%. Damn. The one where Fraud becomes Marl's ancestor is New Game Plus, only since the Portal to Lavos at the fair only shows up in New Game Plus. Chrono Cross also has a bunch of alternative endings, and I suppose we're gonna unlock them all. Also, that is nice to have all the achievements in Steam. Yeah, I guess. But you know what? There's a unique satisfaction in getting the endings yourself. You know, I mean, I could have not played this game and just watched it on YouTube, but it would have been the same. I really enjoyed, you know, even though there was some grinding, I enjoyed the game. And I didn't mind doing any of this. Alright, so with that final ending, if you have to beat the game at least 3 times, might as well. You know, I guess I didn't mind committing to fully ending the game, so there is that, but I guess it's not for everyone. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna have an open mind for Chrono Cross, and I'm gonna try to enjoy the game, but I don't know. Since it's apparently so divisive for the Chrono Trigger fan base. I kind of missed out on that, Neo X, but I can see it's definitely one of the big iconic classics for the Super Nintendo. So yeah, Chrono Cross isn't as fun as Trigger though. Well, damn. Well, I guess I'll find out for myself next week. You know, next Wednesday we're gonna start Chrono Cross and see where that goes. For now, I think this is just a good send off for Chrono Trigger. We got all the endings, we got all the Steam achievements, and I think that's good enough for tonight. X-Volt, sí, la próxima semana arrancamos con Chrono Cross y a ver cómo va. Huh. Now that you mention it, Cat, that sounds a little bit like Monster Hunter, where what you need the most is materials to craft stuff. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess any questions that arise about that will be answered, or we'll get more questions next week. But for tonight, we're done. And you know what? If you ask me, I probably will give Chrono Trigger a 10 out of 10. It's just a classic game. It's an amazing RPG. And yeah, actually, the replayability for its time was insane. Even games in the modern times don't have nearly as much replayability. So I guess it was one of the pioneers in that concept because replayability was kind of poor in a lot of older games. You know, you finished it once and you were done with it. There's also a character that transforms into monsters and you'll need to collect. I would say that the Lost Sanctum is annoying, but the rewards are worth it, so yes. Even though it was tedious, if the reward at the end is worth it, I give it a pass. Yeah. Now, if there was no reward or it was a mediocre reward at the end of the Lost Sanctum stuff, yeah, I would have been mad. That would have been, detrimental to my score for the game. But yeah, the rewards are good, so it's okay. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be it for tonight. Barely over an hour. Bueno, no lo dije explícitamente X-Volt, pero la verdad, Cyber Sleuth igual se lleva un 10. Juegazo. Creo que es el mejor juego de Digimon de la historia. Y es sin ánimos de exagerar. Creo que es el mejor juego de Digimon de toda la historia. No sé, este nuevo que va a salir, el de Time. ¿Qué era? Time Rift, Time Challenge. ¿Qué era? A ver, ¿cómo se llamaba? Time Stranger. Ok, no sé cómo vaya a estar, pero sin contar a ese, creo que sí es el mejor juego de Digimon de todos los tiempos. Así que sí, se lleva su 10 de 10. Ahora, falta ver el Hacker's Memory. Pero Cyber Sleuth, juegazo. Good night, Neox. And well, guys, yeah, like I was saying, that's good. Tomorrow, I'm gonna try to, because I couldn't this time, do a double stream. It's gonna depend on how long it takes. It's the first part is a surprise, and then I'm gonna continue the Bleach game. So we're gonna have that. Time to find out about that baby in the anime ending next week. Yeah, the baby that Luca found in the forest with a shala pendant. Yes, I remember. And now I have several questions, but I'll wait for the game to answer them. All right. Well, guys, not quite yet, Round Cat, but you know what? I'll get back to Sparking Zero next week. Okay, and I guess I'm gonna alternate between Dragon Ball Z and Bleach, but tomorrow I'm gonna do the other stream, and then I'm gonna be doing Bleach. So yes, we're gonna have Sparking Zero next week. All right, guys. Well, whatever it is in your time zone, have a good one, and hopefully see you next stream.